Hi, I'm Giovanni, and today is a big day for Bitcoin. In less than an hour, it skyrocketed past $4,200 resistance to briefly touch the $5,000 level, ending a 3-month period of stagnation. The sudden spike was then followed by a micro-correction, which led Bitcoin to stabilize around the $4,800 level. The total market cap surged by $17 billion. Bitcoin's sudden price hike had a knock-on effect on the whole market, with Tron, Litecoin, and Ether posting significant gains. The reasons sparking this impressive rally are still unclear. A number of cautious analysts told Bloomberg that such sudden spikes, such as today's one, are common phenomena in the still immature and emotional crypto market. Here with us, Chief Market Officer at ThinkMarkets Naeem Aslam and Bitcoin analyst Tone Vays with their perspectives on this major price surge. Hi Naeem, so what happened with markets? Why Bitcoin skyrocketed?
Today is what we call the Bitcoin day. And the reason that I am emphasizing that is because it's the first time that we've seen the prices crossing the 5,000 mark. And it happened at 6:21 a.m. London time when we've seen that huge spike in the price, in the Bitcoin price. Now, in relation to one particular reason, well, there is no one particular reason which brought this into intensive move in the price, but there are two important charts that I really kind of wanted to mention, and these charts are the primary reason that we have seen this momentum, this huge move in the Bitcoin price. Now, firstly, if we look at the weekly chart for Bitcoin, it shows that we have a 6 consecutive weeks of gains for Bitcoin price, and the most important fact is that we haven't seen this kind of a trend going all the way back since Bitcoin formed its all-time high of approximately 20,000 US dollars. But the most important aspect, what I really wanted to discuss with our viewers today, is that the standard deviation, the concept of the standard deviation, to break it down for a normal, for an average investor, a standard deviation is a move that how much Bitcoin price is moved from its average. Now, the higher the move is, that the more the standard deviation, it goes on to the standard deviation aspect. When in this particular chart, what we see is that the Bitcoin price, the today's move, which we haven't seen, which was literally 20% move on a daily basis, added over 15 billion US dollar in terms of market cap for Bitcoin. This pushed the standard deviation to 3. So what I'm trying to say is that the last aspect of that bar for the standard deviation has touched a level which we have not seen going all the way back once again with that during the days of when Bitcoin price touched the level of 20,000 US dollars.
So let's see what Tone Vays thinks about it. Tone, what do you think was the trigger?
There isn't always a trigger. I always expected once the price went above 4,200, we would escalate very quickly to 5,000. I honestly didn't expect us to break 4,200 this week. I thought it would happen a couple of weeks after a little bit of a pullback, but the market reacted appropriately once 4,200 was broken. Shorts got liquidated. There were short squeezes. More people jumped onto the hype, and a lot of news media always look for a trigger to cause big drops and big rises. And I would say more than half the time, they're just trying to match news to something that it doesn't necessarily needed news to happen. It's just traders. It's just speculation. Bitcoin is no different than any other asset.
Thanks, Tone. So going back to Naeem, how sustainable is this surge?
I mean, looking at the price momentum now, we have retraced from the 5,000 mark, and I think I'm looking at this support level of 4,400, and I think as long as that holds, the momentum can continue from here onward.
So what fundamentals are likely to influence Bitcoin in the upcoming months?
The reality is that the SEC is about to issue very soon, in less than a month or so, about to issue their verdict on ETF. And the current stance, where it stands today, is that it is highly likely that we are going to see that ETF. So the Bitcoin ETF becoming a reality is coming very, very soon.
I see. And what about more long-term perspectives?
So I think I am very optimistic when it comes to the digital asset space. I'm very optimistic for Bitcoin in a longer term, the price action where it's going to go. And as you would probably know, that we published an article on Forbes where we talked about the cyclical move in a Bitcoin price. And if we look at two important factors, number one is if you look at where the government debts are in Japan, in Euro, and over in the United States. I think that the next biggest crisis, because remember, I mean, we cover traditional assets on a daily basis, forex, commodities, equities. Now, if we look at the debt levels, they are at a very, very critical level. And for me, I think the next biggest crisis is going to be in the debt. Is going to be the debt crisis, and the debt crisis for at a government level. That is something that we have never seen before. And I think that kind of a crisis is going to bring a lot of shine back into Bitcoin.
Thank you, Naaem. So, talking about the present, Tone, do you think it's time to buy or sell Bitcoin?
I think 12 hours ago was a great moment to sell some Bitcoin that you were holding. For example, like we have that conference coming up, Understanding Bitcoin in Malta. We've been collecting ticket sales in Bitcoin, and we sold all of that Bitcoin from ticket sales earlier today at a price very close to $5,000. So we took this opportunity to actually exit the Bitcoin position because I don't anticipate it going much higher. And if it does go higher, sure, you can go into a swing trade, but I think the upside here is limited. And I still think that the more likelihood is lower prices. An investor should always stay calm and not jump in at the end of a 15% move within a matter of hours.
Here with us were Naeem Aslam and Tone Vays. As for us, we'll continue monitoring the crypto market closely, so stay tuned and don't miss our next updates.
Cointelegraph. Like, subscribe, and hodl.